Greetings, Nick with Sweetwater here, and today we're going to be taking a quick look at 10 amazing Pantera riffs you may have overlooked. Let's face it, over the course of a mere 5 major label studio albums, Pantera gifted us with a myriad of hooky, heavy riffs, many of which are rightly hailed as classics. And, just like Black Sabbath, many of their songs were literally packed with such memorable moments. So, as a result, we're literally spoilt for choice, especially when some of these gems only rear their glorious heads for a few bars then disappear. Like, for example, this glorious chromatic descent in We'll Grind That Axe for a Long Time, which is on the band's 5th and sadly final album, Reinventing the Steel, which came out in 2000, over 20 years ago. Darn! See what I mean? That was sloppy, but what a brilliant metal moment that was. Kind of like a shooting star, I guess. And just like Sabbath, every single one of these riffs has a musical purpose within the song. They're not just there for the sake of being there. They mean something. They lead somewhere or come out of something beautifully. Anyway, I was recently fortunate enough to see a few of the first Pantera celebration shows played on American soil, including 2 headline shows, which included another couple of songs. And that's where the idea for this video was spawned actually, literally in the parking lot of one of the venues. I was chatting with a group of fellow guitarists and Pantera fans who really liked the video I did with Ben Aller about Dime. They also really liked the fact that I'd mentioned that one of my favourite all-time Pantera riffs was the one played under the Cowboys From Hell solo. Then, before I knew it, the idea for this video was born, highlighting 10 great Pantera riffs that might not be on your radar, even though we invariably know and love them. And, to narrow it down, we came up with the idea of me only being able to pick from the songs being played at the Pantera celebration show that night. Here's the song menu I had to choose from, and this is straight from Grady Champion's Guitar Bench. As I know you know, Dime used several different tunings on the original recordings of these songs, and he also liked to tune down a few cents flat, to say the least. So, for the sake and convenience, I'm just going to use 2 tunings for all. Regular tuning, or down a whole step to D, which is what this James Hetfield ESP LTD Snakebite is tuned to. That said, I'm going to do a quick digital guitar change to 1 tune to regular. We're going to start off with the riff that gave birth to this video idea, namely the one under the Cowboys From Hell solo. This one right here. One thing I really like about this riff is the way the 4 dyad chords at the start descend the A string chromatically, just like this. And I also like the fact that on the 1st and 3rd time through the riff, these chords hit on the 2 count of each bar, while on the 2nd and 4th times, they're syncopated so they hit on the 1 and count. Let me try and explain what I mean by playing and counting at the same time. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Got it? That's the way the 1st and the 3rd times are played. This is how the 2nd and 4th ones are played, with the syncopation and the chords hitting on the 1 and. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Neat! I also love the fact that major dyads are used on the descent back to the E note, just like this. So it's B flat to A to G as major dyads on the low 2 strings like this. And then we return to the E5 power chord that restarts the cycle. I'm going to ask you a favor. Please remember these 4 notes, E, G, A and B flat, because Dime used them quite a lot when creating cool E minor riffs. Like the verse riff in Revolution Is My Name that I played in at the very start of this video, this riff right here. As I'm sure you heard, it starts with this repeated 5-note pattern. And again. Let's see what those notes are, shall we? E, G, A, and yes, you've guessed it, B flat. I rest my case. Stay tuned for a few more examples of this later on. My next riff is another one that appears under a searing solo, namely the one from Mouth for War. The thing I really love about that riff is its simple yet catchy bluesy swagger, which is very typical of the late great Dime. Now, what happens after the solo is this. The same riff is converted to a root 5 power chord sequence and becomes the bridge. This one right here. Next up is my number 3, and wait for it, my friend. Yep, you've guessed it, it's yet another part that appears under a solo. This time the song in question is that beautiful blend of beauty and brutality, This Love. The first 8 bars of the rhythm guitar part under the solo are exactly the same as in the verse, namely these. My friend, things start to change. So instead of going to this like in the verse, instead it goes to this. That is so great, I love it. It's a beautiful melodic chromatic descent of the A string, and as much as I love Dime's solo in this song, I love this part just as much. Here's the whole passage without the solo with some drums and bass so you can hear it in context, and it really is pretty in that middle part. And talking of chromatic stuff, number 4 on my list is from Strength Beyond Strength. A little messy, nothing like Dime, but hey, I love the way Pantera could take something seemingly dissonant and make it really, really catchy. That said, time for a quick guitar change via the usual digital magic. Number 5 is a serpentine pre-solo riff in New Level. This one right here. Dime used a wah on this one, by the way, just like this, but I'm not because I'm too darn lazy to plug it in. Now, I've seen a lot of people play this riff on just a low E string like this. And, as you've just heard, it sounds just fine. That said, if you watch live footage of Dime, you'll see he plays it on the low E and A strings together, just like I did before, like this. Let's quickly take a look at what he's doing here. And even though I'm tuned down to D, I'm going to call the open low E string E, as is the usual tab protocol. After the open low E string note, we play this. And as you can hear, because I let them ring, we're basically outlining a G minor chord because we're playing a root minor third dyad. Make sense? Then it does this. It rises up 2 frets to this. Which is, yup, an A minor dyad. Then we go up another fret to, wait for it, B flat minor. Then we go back to A minor. So what are we doing here? E to G to A to B flat. Once again, our favorite 4-note sequence, but this time minor dyads instead of major dyads. Pretty darn cool, very inventive, very creative, and like I said, it's a wonderful serpentine riff. To paraphrase my friend Mr. Phil Anselmo, I like it. Next up is an oft overlooked riff from one of metal's most iconic songs of all time, Walk. The main riff of this song, in my opinion, is up there with Smoke on the Water, but much, much harder to play with Dime swagger. Anyway, the riff I'm referring to is the one at the very end that's repeated while the track slowly fades. You know, the one that starts while Philip utters those immortal words, "Walk on home, boy." This one right here. As you've just heard, even with my dodgy playing, this riff has a hypnotic, dissonant groove that's often overlooked, even though it's instantly memorable. That's why it's in my list. It's a great riff, and it ends that song beautifully. Next up is my number 7, the pre-chorus riff in I'm Broken. And yeah, I know, the song is in C sharp, but D works just fine for my purposes right here, so please don't comment, unless you say, yeah, good idea, you saved me from tuning another guitar. And yes, my friend, this is yet another chromatic style riff that's distinctively catchy. Let's quickly check out those first 5 notes, shall we? These ones right here. I wonder what they are. A, B flat, back to A, G, and wait for it, yep. So once again, our E, G, A, and B flat pals come into action in another great Dime riff. My number 8 is when Hollow ramps up at around the 4-minute mark. This section right here. It starts off with hauntingly catchy minor and major dyads on the A and D strings, while Phil belts out My Best Friend and Come Back. These chords right here. Or ascending the low E string. Then it goes into an already established riff and cranks it into hyperdrive, namely this one right here, and this is the hyperdrive version. You can almost see the mosh pits, can't you? And once again, this riff is a perfect blend of beauty and brutality. I like it. Number 9 is from the whammy pedal infused angst that is Suicide Note Part 2. And I'm sure you'll be happy to know that this riff doesn't involve whammy pedal abuse at all. In fact, it might interest you to know this. The legend that is Grady Champion told me that this song has about 150 whammy pedal moves in total. Wow, that sounds like ankle pain to me. Anyway, here's the riff I've chosen. I really love this riff's no-holds-barred sledgehammer nature, and also the fact it uses the natural harmonics of the 4th fret as well. Works for me. To be honest with you, as opposed to lying, my friend, I've got to be honest though, that wasn't as fast as the record. I guess it's what Ben Elwood called stepdad speed, but it's the best I can do right now. I ain't Dimebag, but then again, no one is. And thus we come to my 10th and final riff, which is from Revolution Is My Name. Love this song, and the Pantera celebration set I just watched closed with it, which was wonderful. The riff I've chosen follows 2 other great riffs that happened just after the second solo. The 2 riffs in question before the one I've chosen are these 2. This one first. And then this one. And after these 2 riffs, we come to the one I've chosen. And this one's packed full of pinch harmonics, and it's a lovely dissenting pattern which has a nice bluesy feel. Here's what it sounds like. This is basically a bluesy 10-note pattern that is first played on the G and D strings like this. I'm going to play it a little bit slower so you can hear the notes. Then, having done that, it's repeated 2 frets slower, but this time on the D and A strings, like this. And then lastly, it's played one more time again, 2 frets slower, but this time on the A and low E strings. Then, when you put all 3 together, you have this. Here it is in context with the other 2 riffs with some backing so we can get those wonderful driving cowbell sounds in. And there you have it, my friend, my 10 riffs from the amazing Pantera celebration tour that are often overlooked because they're not a main hook in the song in question. I would love to know what your favourite riffs that are overlooked from this set list are. Please put them in the comments below. And talking of comments, if you like this video and would like another one like it, please let me know. I've obviously only just scratched the very surface on the Pantera treasure chest of wonderful riffs. I mean, there's so many out there, like the pre-solo classic in the Great Southern Trendkill. This one right here. Messy, but you get the picture. Let's do some more, shall we? Put your suggestions down below. Just so you know, in addition to the Matt Heafy signature Epiphone Les Paul and the James Hetfield ESP LTD Snakebite, I also used this 100-watt Katana Artist Mark II head in the video. Links to all of them can be found in the description below. To close, I'm going to play out with one of my all-time favourite Pantera riffs, the intro to Regular People, a song which is played over the PA right before the Pantera tribute show begins, so it's legal for me to use it in this video. First though, another quick guitar change to a Kramer Beretta. Thank you so very much for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, nicely please, and subscribe. Click here for more videos like this and go to sweetwater.com for all your music instrument and pro audio needs. Goodbye.